Hey guys, it's Lauren from the Express Lane, and today we are talking all about empathetic leadership. Now, I know a lot of people tend to confuse the word sympathy with the word empathy, and sometimes people even use them interchangeably, but there is a difference that you want to be aware of. So, sympathy is when, even though you haven't been in the same situation that somebody else has been in, you can still sympathize with them, you can still feel compassion for them. So, for example, say that someone is really stressed out because they're in their final semester of college, they're getting ready to graduate, and maybe you didn't go to college, maybe you just have your high school degree. So even though you haven't experienced specifically that stress of cramming for finals and getting ready for college graduation, you can still sympathize with that experience because you've still probably had another stressful time in your life that you've gone through where you can be like, yeah, I can sympathize with that. Now, empathy, on the other hand, empathy is when you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes because you've actually experienced that thing before. So if we want to use the same example, this would be if someone, again, is stressed out for finals, getting ready to graduate from college. If you also have a college degree, you've been there, done that, you truly empathize with what they're going through. So those are really the main differences between sympathy and empathy. And today we're going to talk about empathetic leadership, which is really, even if you haven't actually been in that situation before, you haven't actually experienced what they're going through, you can still put yourself in their shoes. You can still imagine what it would be like to go through that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with sympathetic leadership either, at least having compassion, for what somebody else is going through. So today we're really going to focus on empathetic leadership and why that's really so important right now, especially in the workplace. And I read this really great, just saying the other day, I was just looking on the internet, and it said that you need to take care of your employees because if you don't, someone else will. And that was just like amazing, just like blew my mind. And it's so true right now because a lot of us, I feel like, are seeing employees leave our company, right? They're leaving our company to go to another company. And on the surface level, they're saying, well, I'm leaving because this company offers better benefits. I'm leaving because this other company pays more. I'm leaving because it's a closer commute to my house, whatever XYZ, whatever reason they give. And maybe for some people, that is what it's all about. Maybe that is the one thing that is making them leave their company to go to a different company. But there probably is a little bit more to it than that. And a lot of it does come down to leadership and how an employee feels that they are treated, appreciated, understood by their leaders. Which leads us right into a very important survey that was done just a couple of years ago by Businessolver, and it's all about workplace empathy. And it's a really great study. I'm going to actually leave the full study linked in the description box below. It's about, I think, 8 to 10 pages, but it is full of really fantastic information. And what this study actually showed is that 93% of employees would stay with their current company if they believe that their current company is an empathetic employer and that they have an empathetic leadership team. But 82% of employees would actually leave their current company for a more empathetic leader, for a more empathetic company. So this really, I think, the numbers don't lie. It really goes to show how important empathetic leadership is. And I think whether empathetic leadership is something you're just starting out with and you're trying, hard to embrace this, or whether it's something that is really, innate to your strengths. Like for me, one of my top 5 Gallup strengths is empathy. So whether that's, even with it being, core strength to me, empathetic leadership is still something that I work on every single day and that I try to be a more empathetic leader. So there are definitely a few different ways that you can go about building your empathetic leadership skills. So we are going to dive into a few of those in this video right now. Now, one of the first ways that you can really start to focus on empathetic leadership is by embracing open communication. Now, it really does go to show that sometimes the only way to really understand your employees' wants, their needs, and what they really are looking to get out of their job is for you yourself to be vulnerable. Because think about it, if we are talking to someone and they're being open with us, we're more likely to be open with them because they've already taken that first step to being, vulnerable and being open about what it is that they're actually thinking, feeling, what they're looking for. So if we can start embracing that in our leadership, it's likely that our team as well is going to open up. And whether you choose to do this in a small setting like a one-on-one, whether this is something that you do with a department meeting or even like a morning meeting, which is your small team, there are a lot of different ways to really embrace open communication and make it a normal part of your everyday routine for you and your employees. And the truth is that, yes, it is much easier to create empathetic leadership and to have an empathetic relationship with your team than it is to create empathetic leadership on a company level, to have an empathetic company. But the easiest way to go about this is to really focus on your company culture and your company benefits. Now, you might be asking, how are my company benefits connected to empathetic leadership? Well, the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, employees want to feel like their ideas are heard. They want to feel like their concerns are heard. They just want to feel like they have a voice at the company. And that is especially true when it comes to company benefits. Because let's say that maybe an employee would prefer flexible hours over the gym membership that your company is currently offering. They might not be alone in that sentiment. Or maybe the employee would like a higher salary as opposed to mileage reimbursement because maybe they don't travel as much for their specific role as somebody else does in the company. So there are a lot of different ways to really dig into what your employees truly want and what they need from the company in terms of their benefits. And the important thing is to just listen and to make sure that employees feel comfortable bringing that information to you, that they feel comfortable sharing, what about this idea for benefits, or that they feel comfortable sharing, I'm a little concerned that maybe we're not paying enough as our competitors are, something like that. Whatever it happens to be, even if your company does not take that idea or concern and actually implement it, at least let the employee feel like their idea or concern is being considered rather than just squashed as soon as it's brought to the table. And another way that leaders can show empathetic leadership is through diversity and inclusion. Now, it's normal to think about it. I guess I think about it in terms of like recent presidents. We have people moving up into higher leadership, and for me, I know how incredible it was seeing the first female vice president. It was a very big deal when Barack Obama became the first African American president. So it's really critical that now you have young girls that could see themselves in office. They could see themselves as vice president because look, Kamala Harris did it. Or same thing, with a young African American, seeing, oh, well, I could be president, Barack Obama did it. You see these individuals that they look like you and they empower your spirit, and you think, okay, well, if they did that, I can do this. The same thing applies when it comes to leadership within your company. And having a diverse group of leaders gives even more leaders the opportunity to connect with individuals and for more individuals to see themselves in a leadership role because they think, oh, well, this person got there, I can get there too. And this really goes hand in hand with company inclusion and just making sure that every single member of the team feels like they are part of the company and that they have a place, they have a role, they fit in with everyone else, but just that they feel included. Because empathetic leadership, it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that takes a long time to build. But if you can take steps to start, being open with your employees, to really put yourself in their shoes, to be encouraging to other members on the team, as well as encouraging other leaders on your leadership team to do the same, it can really create this sort of ripple effect that goes throughout the company, and that can really start to bring everyone together to feel that sense of inclusion. Now, I wanted to wrap up this video with a quote from Teddy Roosevelt, and the quote says, "Nobody cares about how much you know until they know how much you care." And I think this is such a brilliant quote, because it's like you could be in a leadership role and you could have the best ideas, but if your employees don't feel like they care about you, if your employees don't feel like you care about them, then you're not going to get that sense of buy-in from your team, no matter how great your idea is. And so it's really critical that you do take those steps to show your employees that you care, to show them that you're willing to put yourself in their shoes, to attempt to understand what they're going through in their lives, and to have flexibility with them and just meet them where they are. I mean, have you ever met somebody that said, I just want to be a number, I just want to go to work every day and just be number 238 out of 300 employees. That's my goal. No, nobody ever says that. Nobody wants to be just a number. We want to feel like we're part of something bigger, that we're part of the grand plan, part of the vision and the mission of the company. And that really comes down to leadership. And if you have a vested interest in the people that you lead, you understand the decisions that you make and the impact that those decisions carry for your team. And when you can create an environment where your team feels comfortable sharing their ambitions, they're also comfortable sharing their concerns, then you can really start to lead your team with empathy. Well, that wraps it up for this week's video. Let us know what's one way that you are trying to embrace empathetic leadership in your role at your company. We would love to hear in the comments below. We'll see you back here next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, where we bring you even more tips to help you get your career in the express lane.